The thing about religions, I mean, when you actually like look at all the religions, is I mean, the Catholics are the drag queens of all religions. I mean, even the Jews have been around longer than that, and they don't have the pomp and circumstance and purple robes and incense and candles and gold reflective tile and chanting and incense and oh my God, it just goes on and on and on. Gold robes and you know, choruses going up and down the aisles and golden altar boys and just it's just unbelievable how much, I just picture like the religion standing before God. And not that I believe in God. This is just not that I don't not believe in God. This is just a hypothetical. And, just like the Catholic just being like, I want everything. I want the best of everything. I want the biggest cathedral and the most purple robe. And just, going on the transubstantiation. I mean, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. The saltine cracker is the body of Christ and the wine is the blood. I mean, just that. Whoa. Whew. There's some there's some faith right there. So yeah, I think I think the Catholics definitely get it, and I guess like the Pope just came out um, with his yearly message of peace from the Catholic Church, and once again said that gays were the root of all evil, and we were going to dismantle world peace. Like we have a peaceful world already, and we're going to really ruin things. Um, and it's so egregious to me that they won't address the whole centuries of children being raped and the church covering it up and condoning it and moving the priests so that they had fresh meat and they didn't have a bad reputation so people trusted their. I mean, it's just so it's centuries of really systematically bad behavior. So I just, whenever I hear anything from him, I just think like the Catholic Church that they just I wish they'd get it together because they're losing they're losing ground with a lot of people. I mean, I'm embarrassed to even be around one. Like I don't want to be associated with it because of all the stuff that's happened and the whole that they were bad during they helped the Nazis against the Jews like they Galileo. I mean, like historically they've done some really egregious things. So but I definitely think that they are over the top, the gayest religion, visually speaking. So they are the drag queens of all religions. Okay, and on the subject of guns, just because now I've brought up the subject of guns, and I know it's a loaded topic, ha ha ha. But the reason the Second Amendment is there, and I just want to clarify this for those of us who don't know, if you actually read the Second Amendment, the reason for the Second Amendment is not so that we can go out and buy assault rifles and kill children or whatever. We're going to kill at McDonald's or high school or whatever. Like, the reason we have the Second Amendment, the reason that was ever written in to the Constitution is because um, it's because the government knew that they could possibly get too big and too nasty, and it made sure that the people could stay armed in case the government got out of control. Ruby Ridge, anyone ever heard of that? I don't know. David Koresh, anyone heard of that? Like, they knew that, there's always a possibility of tyranny, and they wrote it in so that we could arm ourselves against the tyranny of the government in case they got out of hand, we would actually be able to defend ourselves. That's why the Second Amendment is there, and I think that is like what a good idea for a government that's founded on sexism, genocide, slavery, and you know fundamentalist Christian values. Like, for a government like that, they knew they could kind of see the potential for bad things to go horribly, horribly wrong. So they put that in there. I mean, what a great idea to say, like, hey, I might turn into a complete abusive asshole. So I'm going to make sure that legally you can arm yourself because I don't know what kind of monster I'm going to create in the future. I might turn into a horrible monster that might try to kill you and eat you. So let me make sure that it's legal for you to defend yourself. But that's not what ended up happening with the Second Amendment, and it's too bad because that's a good idea. It's a good idea to say like I might turn into a monster. I got a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. Of that just got so skewed, and now, children are getting into their parents' guns and shooting their brothers' heads off or each like themselves. Or I mean, it's just so sad to me that things have gone in this direction because that wasn't the intent. That wasn't the original intent. So I stopped listening to the news because it's just too sad and awful. And I used to listen to it every day. I used to listen to everything, as much news as I could possibly get from as many angles as I could get, because they're all giving you like a little tiny thin slice of whatever it is, whatever agenda it is they're trying to push or vote or money or it's all manipulation. There's no way you could give an accurate picture of a whole day anywhere anyway. So it's all sliced up. So if you put the slices together, you might get a more accurate picture, but then it's still just inaccurate. And so I stopped listening to the news, and in my head, I almost have like a pre-programmed news report in my head, like, well, there's some horrible thing happened in the Middle East. There was a car bomb, there was a suicide bomber, there was some rockets were blown into some other country from some other country, and like people died, and children at the market. I mean, there's always going to be. It's like every day there's like some horrible bombing thing in the Middle East, and then that's like every day. And then there's the everyday news, and then there's the probably like the once a month American news. There's always like some kind of shooting in a school or a McDonald's or a whatever, um, and then there's this whole discussion about um, whether or not we should ban assault rifles. Like I mean, gay marriage is banned, right? So I doesn't make any sense to me that gay marriage would be banned and assault rifles would be okay. I mean, what kind of priorities does a country have when assault rifles are legal and gay marriage is illegal? I mean, if you want to talk about bans and not bans, like what should we ban as a people? I think assault rifles, there's no reason to have them. You can't, I mean, you could go out hunting deer with assault rifles, but wow. I could just see Rambo out there, going after the deer with like automatic weaponry. There's no reason to have an automatic weapon. Not that you can't turn, a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon with $100 little part you can get at a gun show, but you shouldn't be able. No one should be able to go out and buy an assault rifle because it's just ridiculous. I mean, come on. I mean, do we really even have to have a discussion about that? Like, totally different. Totally different assault rifles than other guns. There's just no reason for it. So the problem with the left is, we're busy debating on whether or not we should be vegans or vegetarians or meat eaters. Meanwhile, the right wing has completely taken over the textbook publishing industry. And not only are they making hand over fist, but they're making hand over fist by pouring right-wing propaganda down the throats of our students. So next time you order a pizza at, some fundraising left-wing event or some kind of committee, blah, 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 you know, think about how long it takes us to order a pizza and how many conversations we have to get into and what's going on the right while we're trying to order the pizza.